Yes, good evening. Don't worry, there are more people coming. There is Alan from Time added on. Iggy will be joining us. Jacob will be joining us. And Mari will be joining us as well. We've got a couple of people. One is ill. One's at work. One's on holiday. You know how it is. So we've brought in the B team. We've brought in the reserves. We brought in the reserves. I'm only kidding. We brought in the young up-and-comers from the youth team that have got to come in and prove themselves. Alan Clark from Time added on. How are you, my friend? Are you well?
I'm very well. Did you like my late entrance running through the door? It's absolutely brilliant.
Very dramatic. I liked it. It was like, oh, my God, I've missed it. Oh, my God. I mean, your late entrance running in, Iggy just chilled and slides in. Like, love it. I love it. How are you doing, Iggy? You well?
All right, mate. Yeah, just all a bit of rush, man. Just sun football, come back, just had a quick bite. I thought I'd jump on because I don't like eating too late, so I just had a quick bite now. And here I am. I said I'd come on, man. It's always that time. I thought when you said 8 o'clock, I nearly had a palpitation. I was like, because at 8 p.m. when you originally put the link out.
Yeah. That's my bad. That's my bad. I meant 8:30. But listen, you're here. I believe that we've got Jacob has joined in the chat as well. There's Jacob. Look at all these faces. Everybody from different places is so much fun. Jacob has ditched his man bun on the day that Dragusin,
I can bring
Dragusin. No, it's fine, mate. It's fine. I like the bobble hat. That's more of an Eric Dyer training picture hat that you've
never
got
thought
on.
I hear that name again.
We're gonna be talking about it, Iggy. So listen, big up to everyone in the chat. There's 205 of you in here and growing. You know the rules. Smash the like button. Let's not play this game where I have to ask, then I have to make some sort of quip about conversion rates and blah blah blah. You smash the like. We'll give you content. And if anyone hasn't subscribed already, please go and subscribe to Time Added On. Please subscribe to Iggy at Tottenham Away, and please subscribe to Jacob at the United Spur of America, and subscribe to Football Heritage TV. We're just a couple of hundred away from 13,000, which sounds big, but it's not really, is it? It's not that big. Guys, an eventful day. After what seems like forever, Radu, let me get this right, Dragusin Radu Dragusin has signed for Tottenham Hotspur and will wear the number 6. Eric Dyer is grinning like a Cheshire cat in every picture. He looks like someone who has won the lottery, joining Bayern Munich. Jed Spence has gone to Genoa on a 6-month loan. There is talks of lots and lots of midfielders coming in. Man City have been drawn in the FA Cup. That's just been announced that it's going to be Friday the 26th. 26th. I'm pretty sure. Why not?
Saturday 27th. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
it is 26th.
So Friday 26th. We've got Man United on Sunday. Where do we start? Iggy, let me start with you. Let's start with the good news. Well, it's
easy tie in the FA Cup.
Let's start with the easy game. No, we won't start with that. We'll get to that. Because I still don't believe that all these people that are saying, "Oh, I really wanted City," I'm not having it. I'm not buying it. Mate,
we just need to score one goal. They never score, so just the one goal will be enough.
Yeah. City are going to draw a blank again. Oh, can you imagine? Iggy, we got it done. It's been threatening to get done. Then we had the whole Bayern Munich have come in, offered more money on the bid, offered double to the salary, but he's come in. He's here miraculously. Romero is now fit. It was like announced the same day it was announced to the Here We Go. Romero was like, "Hang on, I'm fit." It's only good for Spurs and the centre-back option, Ziggy, isn't it? It's only good for Spurs.
Look, first of all, big up to you guys. Big up to everyone in the chat. And I hope you guys had a wicked Christmas and New Year for those haven't spoken to in a while, man. But look, first of all, incredible bit of transfer market. How we got Dragusin in, or Ivan Drago, like I call him, and managed to, in 48 hours, get rid of Dyer is beyond me, because at one point it looked like we was going to lose Dragusin to Bayern Munich, and we was going to be lumbered with Dyer, with everything else
Eric.
around us stopping. Yeah, so to do all of that, Jet Spence to Genoa, it's incredible. It's incredible bit of 48 hours, and then do you know what? I have to say that every player that's been injured, one thing that the media, not the media, but the Tottenham media has kept everyone quiet. We don't know until the player's on the pitch. I love it. There's something really like wicked. It's really good. Something really good about that. When you don't think you're going to see a player for 2 or 3 weeks, bang, he's in a starting lineup, and you're like, where's he just come from?
Yeah, but it's causing mistrust. So now, whenever they say so and so's out for 6 months, I'm going to go, all right, we'll see you in 6 weeks.
Yeah,
like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but you know what? It keeps us guessing, but it keeps our opponents guessing. More importantly, so for me, it's a great little bit of tactic, and everything to manage to keep that under wraps right up until kickoff. That is some serious doing, given that there's prying eyes everywhere. But look, it's great bit of market. We have got a reinforcement in defence. We're not we always said, didn't we, that we needed 2 centre backs. Now with Van der Ven and Dragusin, finally we've got them. With Romero, hopefully stays fit. Centrally, at least, we should be solid now. Our fullbacks are doing really well. Let's hope we can keep them fit moving forward. And then now it's like, okay, Timo Werner is. We've spoken about that. It divides opinions, but let's see what
we're going to speak about it again in a bit. Don't you worry, Iggy. We're going to speak about it again.
I'll await to see what the pitch, the verdict eventually will always be on the pitch. The pitch doesn't lie. The pitch doesn't lie. And if we can do Savva, if we can do something in midfield, a goal scoring midfield that has maybe a shot from edge of someone who can shoot from 30 yards out, or it can be a little bit deadly from free kicks. For me, for transfer wise inbound, I think we would have done well. And then if we can add to Jed Spence on players going and Eric Dyer, all the better. But I'm hearing Ndombele staying in Turkey now, so we may not have to worry about that. So it's all good.
It's all happening. It's all happening. Jacob, lovely to see your face. She's got such a soothing voice as Jacob. How are you, mate? You well?
Oh, man, too blessed to be stressed. Thank you for the invite. Big up, everybody. I want to say something to the chat first and foremost. Before I go and tell them anything, y'all need to be hitting the like, because whatever the likes are at right now, I know it is not enough. So before I get talking, let me say hit those likes up.
It is not.
But yeah, man, I'm good. A lot of goings and comings going on with Tottenham Hotspur, starting with Hugo Lloris, Eric Dyer. Now, these are 2 names off of a list in which we have been trying to offload players. So that's nothing but positive news for me. Then you look at the likes of some of the business we've done. Is it January 31st? What's going on today?
I know. I mean, the thing is, Jacob, it's like we're not used to this. We're not used to sitting here on the 11th of January going, we've signed 2 players. Yeah, one's on loan, but we got our defender that we wanted over the line on the 11th. And somebody in my chat earlier, Jacob, said Spurs must have a bad back because they're carrying the transfer market at the moment. And it's like everything in the Premier League being done, unless I'm wrong, I haven't seen anyone else in the top half of the table other than Brighton who signed a 19-year-old kid. No one's done anything. It's us.
Yeah, in the Premier League. Yeah, for sure. I think I've seen like Dortmund and a couple other people being a little active.
Yeah,
Levy put people in place to do this very thing that we're seeing happening. So the fact that it's happening just a little bit sooner, I think, is the surprise for me. But the fact that it's happening at all is not a surprise, because when you look at why was Johan Lange hired, why was Scott Munn hired? Well, I guess we're starting to see why. And to me, does a tiger change his stripes or leopard spots, whatever moniker you want to go with? No, not necessarily. But hey, maybe he's made his money, and maybe he can now say, I will allow these people. I've hired people to do what everyone's complaining at me about, and no one's singing his name anymore in the stands. They're all singing other people's names like Mickey Van de Veen, James Maddison, Ange Postecoglou. So as long as that keeps happening, I think he's doing what he set out to do, which was to silence all the fans saying to get out of my club, you know. And at the end of the day, you know, I was on my channel yesterday, and you know, some people were having a go at one of my guests saying, like, why are we going to praise a guy for doing his job, right? Like, why would we do that? You do your job, that's what you're supposed to do. Okay, fair enough. I don't think it's praising, more so acknowledging the facts of what's happening. The fact of what's happening is January 11th. We got Hugo Lloris out Christmas night almost. He was taking pictures in LAFC gear before the window even opened. So these are two pieces of deadwood that I was waiting to see offloaded, and that happened. So that's good. We got 2 players in. One was a cheeky bit of business. Now, whether he turns out to be a good player or not, we'll find out. Maybe Ainge can squeeze some lemon juice out the rock before we send him back to Schnitzel Land, but we don't know. We will find out. But the great part about it is, in years past, it feels like we would have signed somebody to a 2 or 3 year deal just to fill that hole that we have right now, which is what Timo Werner, that hole that he's filling, which is a attacking option, especially while Sonny's gone on these Asia games. I don't think that Timo Werner necessarily is going to break into this starting 11. Now, he may be a better 9 through the middle than Richarlison in Ainge's system. That's something I'm looking forward to finding out. But, you know, there are other things to his game, I think, that make him a good signing. The risk-free, the business aspect of the signing, I appreciate that as well. And listen, Werner Dragusin, did I know him 6 months ago? No, I don't, but I love him now. And that's all that matters.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Alan, look, let's continue that theme then. I think, look, I'm someone that said what I can't do is I can't sit and criticize Levy and the board and ask for them to do things. Then when they do it, not say, yeah, that's what I wanted, fair play. What I also won't do is go over the top. Like, I'm not going to go over the top unless I see this for 4, 5, 6, 7 windows in a row. I won't believe it. But this is different. They've acted. We've moved, as the kids say. We moved quickly.
Yeah.
Are we seeing slight changes? Is this the Ange effect? Is Levy relinquishing some sort of control to those around him, or is this just a one-off? What do you make of all of it, Alan?
I don't think it's a one-off. I don't think it's the Ange effect sort of thing. We've seen this happen before in the early days of Poch. Like in regards to building a squad or building an 11, and it got to a point, and then we were like, okay, continue. And
And then we're done now.
Yeah,
we're done.
What's that?
Yeah.
So we've seen it happen before to a point, but look, I'm one of these people where I criticize them for not doing their job and not ever like building a squad. It looks like now we're trying to build a squad. I mean, when you had Vertonghen and Alderweireld, your backup, I think Derek Dyer as a defender. I believe so. Or like Dyer and Davis, stuff like that. You've now got obviously Van de Ven Romero and you've got a Dragusin. Like Werner is not, we'll get into that at some point. Werner isn't my, like, I think he's going to do what everyone thinks he is, but he's better than Brian Hill. It's a step up in the squad. We've done it for 2 transfer windows, summer and now, but we have to keep it going. It can't be what Spurs normally do is go, oh, we've had a good season in signings and getting deadwood out. We're going to take our foot off the brake. It has to be continuous. I want to see this 2 years freeze. I want to see this for the entire time Ange's in, because I've said
5 years.
5
Minimum.
years. I've said it all along. If you give this manager the tools to do the job at Spurs, he will win us trophies. You can't pull the plug. You can't half-ass it. You have to give him and continue doing it, because the type of football he has, how he got us playing decent football with bang average players, even in the summer, obviously people have come in and done a good job. I'm all for Ange, but these owners have had a history of getting us so far and then pulling the plug, pulling the rug under a manager, selling people short. The amount of times I've heard, oh, we've got to win now, manager. Oh, yeah, we're going to win stuff and all that. But then we didn't back a manager. We didn't do this and all that. It's got to be one of these where these owners can no longer give us excuses, and then it's up to the manager and players and the squad to deliver us trophies. But there's always a caveat of what's gone on in the background has led to our downfall and not getting over the line. If these owners finally build a squad, then it's all on Ange, it's all on the team. But we've never really seen that under these people, because we always have a starting 11 and never a squad.
But maybe you're seeing it now, Alan. Maybe. But again,
Yeah.
that can only be proven not by them coming out and saying anything, by what they've just done, and they need to continue doing it.
Action.
In the summer, give me some more of that. And then in the next January, I need some more. Keep filling the cup, right? We're all thirsty here. It ain't been a while since we had a drink, so go and fill me up now. And we're getting a little taste of what it could be like when they pour me something nicely. Hey, and again, rival fans are all gonna take the mick out of us for any piece of business we do. Bayern fans now jumping in. I've been seeing all the Bayern fans all over Twitter having a go at us, which is hilarious to me, because if there's any Bayern fans listening, I want to say this first and foremost. Not only did you fail at your hijacking, but then the thing we were trying to offload in our journey, you were like, yeah, we'll take that instead. So have fun. Sprechen Sie Deutsch, hold that schnitzel, whatever you want to say.
Do you know the funny thing is for me, right, is first and foremost, let's just say that it has been confirmed that Eric Dyer has signed a contract. He is there till June of this year with an option to extend until 2025. So, look, he's there for 6 months. I wish him well. I really, really, really do wish him well. Big up, Mari. I'll bring you in a second, brother. I hope you are well. Look, what we've got to say is when we're talking about other teams' fans, Iggy, taking the piss out of us, right? Whatever we do, I get it. They're going to laugh at us because we've had many false dawns where we've gone, oh my God, we've signed this player. We're cooking now. Oh my God, we're in a title race now. Oh my God, we've got Conte. We're better than Arsenal now. We've done this a lot. And I feel that we go so prematurely with it that we don't actually wait for things to come to fruition. Do you understand, not that it's important, but do you understand why other fan bases just yet don't see what we're seeing from Ange and the changes within our club? Do you understand where that comes from?
Yeah, but listen, from an opposition's point of view, of course they're always going to take the mick, because it's like they'll look at us and goes, there goes the Spurs fans, they're off again, and then same old, and at the end of the season it will be the same old story until we change that. With facts, it's going to be the same old story. So we have to change that mindset first of all in-house, and then change it from outwardly. In regards to the players, look, we still have some shortcomings in our team. It's needless to say, but if this can be a start of something new, I'm all for it. But is it all been done? No, it's going to take, for me to convince that the board has changed its ways, it's going to take 4 or 5 windows of continuous, because if we're doing a rebuild, the rebuild is not done after one session, it's done after 4 or 5 sessions. Backing the manager, as in like giving him the tools to do the best job that he can do, extending the contract, making sure that he's here with us for the next 4 or 5 years, and then we can start getting on board. As for challenging for the league, listen, we've had this conversation before.
Yeah. We won't go there.
We are a million miles away. If we are, Savva, if come April, all right, we're in the same position we are now, then I say sure thing, go for it, because the points are so small that why not go for it? But we're not in April. We are in January. We haven't done anything. And still much to do. But I like the fact that we've cemented the defensive line. We've got a great goalkeeper. By the looks of it, the early signs is that this guy is a real deal. Okay, maybe better than Raya, which is what we all wanted. But Vicario's, who knew Vicario 6 months ago? Who knew Dragusin 6 months ago? Bottom line is we've got young, up-and-coming players, young, but when I say 22, 23-year-old, so our team age is getting younger. So everything's in place. Everything's getting in place. We're recovering Bentancur. We've got a lot of players that we've had out for a long time. Hopefully we get Son back, because, God, we're going to need the goals. and at the moment, that's the area that preoccupies me a little bit. Where the goal's going to come from. Yeah, it's a little bit open there.
Well, that's the key thing. Listen, I want to come to Mari, and then I want to move on to look. I mean, Dragusin, brilliant. I think I speak for everyone when I say I haven't seen anyone say, "Oh, I don't want Dragusin." Oh, sorry, Dragusin. Sorry, I've got to do this properly. Dragusin, right?
Just give him a funny nickname, and then you don't have to pronounce anything correctly.
Or just call him Radu. We could just call him Radu, couldn't we?
He is a very rad
By his
dude.
real
That's
name. Do you know what I mean? Look, before we get into Werner, which is obviously the one that's causing a bit more of a debate than Dragusin. Mari, Spurs moving different. We've moved early. Suddenly we've gone from having no proper centre back to Romero, Van der Ven and Dragusin all available for the squad on Sunday against Man United. How much of a good signing do you think this is going to be, Mari, and how are you?
Doing okay. I was listening to the show driving home. I admit I suffer from PTLD, which is post-traumatic leaving disorder. So it takes a bit more than one transfer window for me to say, oh, wow, these guys are doing a great job, Levy and the board. And I heard Jacob said, he's put people in place. Like I said, I suffer from PTLD, post-traumatic leaving disorder. I need more than one or two transfer windows to be comfortable.
Chairs, I like it.
There is a change. So I would say, they're doing their job. So far, so good. We needed a center back immediately. In pure fashion, we always get a good. I call ourselves Bargain FC. With Timo, I know we're going to talk about Timo coming in. It was offered, presented. I still believe it was the club that offered it. I don't think Ange said, "Hey, can we go back to Germany and get Timo Werner?" I think he could do us some good. So I still think there's still remnants of Levy's influence on how the transfers are going, but so far he's doing his job, and I'll give him credit for that. And in regards to Dragon, that's what I call him. I'm gonna call him.
Go for it. Yeah, Dragon. Yeah, that works. Yeah.
I'm at least happy that we're getting Plan B. We know that Plan A is always hard to get, and we know the type of club that we are. We've had debates about Guardiola and Bastoni and whatsoever.
Yeah.
But at least with BDV, all right, that was Plan B. We got him. We wanted Torpedo. That was Plan A. But we got Plan B, which is the Dragon. So at least that's good. It's a good start. And so I can't knock it. I got to give credit.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I've got no problem if you can't get Plan A, getting Plan B. I'm just glad that we moved quickly. Not we couldn't get Plan A. Let's wait until the 28th of January to investigate Plan B. Look, guys, Dragusin seems to be a hit across the board. Even for those that haven't seen him play, everyone's really happy. We've got a new centre-back in. Brilliant. Timo Werner, right, on the other hand, got to bring it up, haven't I? Timo Werner still, from what I'm seeing, is causing a like
Timo.
This. It wouldn't be Spurs if we didn't have at least one of the signings where we go, oh, I don't know, and other people are going, he's the best and he's crap, and all this. Jacob, let me start with you. Why is there kind of like a 100% acknowledgement, if you will, that Dragusin is going to be a good player for Spurs, and we're all getting behind and going, that's a great signing. But with Werner, there is very much a divide and some people are not sure. Why is there that difference between the two signings?
Well, I would say because one, we've seen in the Premier League at some level, and he had expectations when he did come in. But Werner, for me, I always wanted him before he signed for Chelsea. So when he signed for Chelsea, I was actually really jealous at the time.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm easily distractible anyway. When Chelsea signed Timo, I don't know why I just love saying that. So I'm going to root for the guy. But look, he had expectations, and there was a lot of, I think, pressure from the Chelsea fan base when he came in to be that goal scorer. They needed a guy up front to score the goals, and they created a lot of opportunities. And I think he has like over 30 offside goals for Chelsea in all comps, over 30 offside goals. And I was listening to a Chelsea fan speak on it. They were saying that those were all ruled off when VAR was different. They would have allowed them, and then whereas at the time when he was with Chelsea, the rules were a little bit different, and I'm not too sure. I don't really care about the VAR rules because that's going to be what it is. I have no control in what those rules are. So
yeah.
I just this guy can make runs. He can pass the ball. He's got football IQ. To me, there's nothing but upside in this. I don't see why any Spurs fan. Well, I can see why rivals would. It makes sense, right? If anyone else in the Big Six signed Timo Werner, I'd probably be like, haha, what are you doing, you loser? But for us, I think it's a little bit different. What we're asking him to do, and I think the supplemental role. If Alejo Veliz never got injured, I don't even think we do this business. I don't think we get Timo Werner. Yeah, I think Alejo Veliz would supplement whatever we're thinking that Timo Werner's going to. But there's another thing, because Alejo Veliz was going to get minutes while these Asia games were going on, because we need someone to figure in down the middle, and then either throw Richarlison on the left, or it's going to be Brian Hill. Now I'm going to pose you this question, Savva. Would you rather a Timo Werner who's played at Old Trafford a few times, who's played at some of these venues that we have to go to against these big clubs? He's already played against. Would you trust Brian Hill to go to Old Trafford and create something more than you would like Timo Werner to go in there? And I would say that Timo Werner to me is if Brian Hill did what Timo Werner did for Chelsea, if he did that for us, everyone would love Brian Hill. He would be the next big hit sensation since the Beatles.
So, I mean, look. Listen, I won't answer that. I'm going to chuck that down the line. I'm just going to kick the can down the road. I'm not taking any responsibility here. Alan, interesting point. Is the fact that Timo Werner is better than Brian Hill a big enough reason to bring him in? On the back of that, are Spurs fans going off the back of what we've seen of him before? With that in mind, is there a right for the skepticism? Because we have seen him. This isn't a player we've not seen. We've seen him. So what do you make of the whole thing?
So I'll answer Jacob's question first. In regards to who I'd rather see against Man United or these other teams, it would be Werner over Hill, because Brian Hill for me is just literally not built for the Premier League. He looks like a boy on the pitch. He's obviously one of those that won't work. He needs to go. That's my opinion on him. But with Timo Werner, when people look, there once was a time where people said he's the next big thing. Like, he had that reputation. He's going to come to the Premier League. He's going to smash it, whatever. You can only go based on what you've seen since he's come to the Premier League and thereafter in the last 3 or 4 seasons. And if his stats and obviously what he's done in games and the misses and stuff like that doesn't scream to me a massive improvement or the next level for Spurs. Now, people will go, but it's only a loan, no risk, minimum risk and all that. But we've seen Spurs do these type of signings before. Hence Danjuma last year. Now, people will say, you can't compare players. I'm not comparing players. I'm comparing the situations. A stopgap or a loan with pretty much no option to buy or probably not going to do that. I want to see players that are coming into this squad, coming into this team to improve and displace people who are going to be here. Now, could he hit the ground running and be a completely different player? Absolutely. Torres smashed it for Liverpool. It was awful for Chelsea. So you can see different players in different situations, different teams thrive. You can see that. Will he? I don't know. People say that, he's pace, we'll get him behind. Teams predominantly sitting against us now and then working their way into a game. So I haven't seen Spurs tear a team apart with pace in behind. Normally it's all built up and all that because people sitting against us.
But that's the good part though, Alan.
No, let me finish. When you've got people saying that you can find people like in regards to a pass and all that, you've got the only one that can really do that is Maddison. So in a compressed area, only Maddison can really find the ball because we haven't seen pinpoint balls from Maddison, Kulu and Lo Celso to unlock defenses like you have seen Maddison do it. So the situation has got to be right. Will he get those chances? Will he get those opportunities when they come back? Because he might be out as him on the bench and then it's literally just a squad filler. If it works, fantastic. I'm more than happy to say, a good bit of business. But it's one of them that I didn't get. Like when we were linked with him, I was like, that's a bit out of the blue. But I weren't like I was with Dragusin, or Dragusin or Drago or Dragon or whatever you call him. I was like with him, I was like, yes, I want that player. With Werner, I'm like, I don't think it's a great signing, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, look,
that's the thing he mentioned. Okay. I just want to adjust one thing because I did come out and say, and I'm putting the foot forward saying that I think that this could end up being a cheeky bit of business. If he comes in and gets 5-10 GA, is that worth $4 million that we just got for sending Eric Dyer the other way? You know what I mean? Like if there's from a business standpoint, I think it makes all the sense because it's very low risk and high reward. And you're getting a guy that is better than what we have right now. Is he better than Richarlison? Would you? Now, I'm not talking about finishing. I'm talking about football IQ, passing in the final third, making run. Not. I know we all say the pace, right? And I agree with you, Alan. That is the main thing that when I used to look at his game that I relished in. But the further that I've delved down this avenue, his passing stats for when he was with Chelsea alone in the Premier League, his passing stats, his off the ball defensive work rate, his progressive runs, and progressive passes. Well, I mean, I don't know all the mumbo jumbo, but all the non-shooting stuff was really, really good. So if he can come in and do that, I'm not saying again we don't score off individual brilliance. We don't need and Kylian Mbappe to come in here and juke three guys and make his way into the box and curl it top corner. We don't work goals that way. It's teamwork goals. And if he can just be a part of that machine that builds up the play in the final third, in our own half, however it may be through the middle, I don't know. But I think that there's enough there to warrant a 6-month loan. Let's remember, this isn't a 2-year deal. We're not stuck with him.
Well, let me. Yeah, go for it. It's what I'm here for. It's what we're here for. Go for it.
I get everything you're saying, Jacob, but let's just take the last game, Burnley game. We looked toothless up front. We honestly did. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, in all honesty, from what we've seen in the league, like in the Premier League when he's been in it, the front line of Werner, Richarlison, and Johnson makes me think there's goals aplenty there. Like I said, it could work out and fantastic if it does and I'm proved wrong. I'm more than happy because it means Spurs improve. But from what I've seen of Werner, it could be a fact that we're close to getting thingy and obviously a miss from him like he normally does, or if he doesn't hit, we could have got European, we could have got Champions League football, but he didn't hit and all that. I'm just saying there's different avenues. I get what you're saying. It could be positive, but you can also look at it the other way. It could be what we've seen before from Werner in regards to output, which is what Spurs need, because against Burnley, we look toothless.
So let me come to you.
Well, we were in the box a whole bunch. I agree. The clinicalness of finishing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut in again, but I just want to point out that it's not that we're not creating these chances. There's a reason we created enough to get Brennan Johnson 10 touches in the opponent's box in the first 37 minutes of that match. That shows me we're getting forward. We're creating these chances. It's just about the last bit, the final bit. And again, that's something that can be coached into these players, in my opinion.
Well, look, let's take that then, Iggy. I want to take that. So, listen, what I've heard, again, I think Jacob has got some really good points in terms of what Werner does bring to a team. And bearing in mind, this is coming from someone who, when they first heard the news, was underwhelmed. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I think everyone saw my video. I had like 1,000 people live cussing me because I said I was underwhelmed. But all of those things, do they actually lead to what it is that Spurs need, which is goals? Is that, in your opinion, why he's been bought? Or has he been bought for the other stuff and the other players will get the goals? Does that make sense? It's a question.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. Like, if we look at it, let's put it this way. If we look at why Dragusin was brought in, is to beefing up that defensive lineup, okay? Is to give us options, maybe perhaps go 3 at the back if we need to during the games. Cover, for sure. We have strengthened that side. And as a result of doing that, we are probably less likely to concede goals, or we're going to concede less goals than perhaps we would have done if we had played Dyer and Davis together. We've done the opposite. We've tightened it up. Now, signing Werner, are we adding goals? Well, that's the question mark, isn't it? I'll tell you what I thought with signing Werner. One, I agree, it was a good deal. It was a good deal because we had been on loan to the end of the season. So on that aspect, financially, it's a low risk. We signed him because Ange doesn't see Brian Hill long term in all of this.
Sure.
And if you look at it, with Perisic on the left hand side, he's out. Solomon, I don't know how long he's going to be. And now with Son in the Asian Cup, we don't really have anything on the left hand side. If you count that Richarlison's going to play through the middle, we've just recalled Scarlett back because Valine's got injured, so Scarlett's come back as well. So I agree that it's low cost and it's not a gamble in regarding the transfer of Werner. For me, the gamble is if he doesn't bring in the goals, however it may come, whether he sets up goals or scores goals himself, which is where the question mark is, it could have a massive impact on our second half of the season in terms of scoring goals, because the only thing this team has proved regarding scoring goals is when Maddison and Son are playing. They will get you goal. Outside of that, there's been very little contribution. Maybe Kulusevski a little bit has contributed to a goal here and there, but very little. Brennan Johnson hasn't hit, has certainly not in front of goal. He hasn't hit the heights there, so he's not contributing. Hill's not contributing. Perisic and Solomon, for the reason we just stated. Where are the goals coming from in that final third, if not Maddison and Son? I think that's the gamble there, not the player, Timo Werner. The gamble is that we've not brought in anyone that's going to guarantee us the goals in the way that we've guaranteed ourselves with Dragusin in stopping them going the other way. I think it's all about percentages. Now, don't get me wrong. If Timo Werner comes in this system and he hits the ground running, well, we're winning. But the question mark is there. This is why I'm saying we have to wait to the pitch. The pitch will give us the verdict.
Yeah,
some will be wrong. Some will be in the mud, as the terminology is. Some will be in the mud because it's a great signing. Others will be like, well, we told you. It's the same guy that Chelsea had on the left-hand side. I believe that Timo Werner, who's come in predominantly to play on the left-hand side, not in the middle of the park.
So do you believe when Son is back from the Asian Cup, we're going to have
number 9.
Werner left, Son in the 9, not the other way around?
There's no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind.
Okay. I mean, Mari, talk to me. I mean, I've seen players cause a divide, but Werner is this is something else.
Is that is an ideal front three? Werner, Son, Johnson, is that better than the alternative? What else is there that we could have gotten?
I would say Werner, Kulu, Son, Maddison. When you got Bentancur and Bissouma, you're laughing.
I don't think, just before I bring you in, Mari, I would just say, just for that, for me, I wouldn't want to see all three of those play together. For me, I don't think there's enough technical ability in all three of them. I think that will be brilliant for breaking on teams very, very fast. But for me, when we're playing against low block teams, there's not enough from those three for the guile and the craft. So, like earlier on in the season when we played Sheffield United at home, right? Games like that. And the teams sit on the edge of their box. For me, having Werner, Johnson and Son all with their pace almost becomes a little bit redundant because you need one of them that can do something a little bit different. That's just my opinion. Mari, where are you at with this whole Timo Werner? Some are saying he's going to bang for fun. Others are saying, Jesus, this guy was awful at Chelsea. Where are you with it?
I at first thought it was a crazy rumor. And then I was like, oh, wow, we're actually going to bring this guy in. I would agree with a little bit to Jacob's point because other than you, Savva, I am part of the Brennan Johnson Kulu haters club because I'm so harsh on them because I think in the final third, they don't process I just think they're terrible in processing. And Kulu in the middle has played better than playing on the wing. So I've looked at it as, well, as Werner coming in, he's probably going to be technically our best person in the attack in the box, because that's my complaint has been with Johnson, his decision-making in the final third. And so I think Werner clearly will be our best person. And so the thing that I hope for, and we have to wait for this, if Sonny's back at the 9, he's back up playing as striker, then this helps because remember, the only person to get the ball to Sonny's feet was Manu Solomon. And Werner could get it to people could get the ball to Sonny's feet. Unlike Brennan Johnson, he's been atrocious. Kulu in the wing has been, slow processing, letting the defense come back. Kulu on the wing, for me personally, is not where I want this club to go in the future. So for me, his signing is more of a meh because it's a low cost, and
Right.
if he could hit all cylinders in regards to assisting when Sonny comes back, that's great. Maybe he will give better opportunities for Richarlison, but we've seen Richarlison miss some real good opportunities. So for me, and I'll say this, it will be very interesting now that we got the Dragon back there. If we ever play with a back three and we have Johnson and Poro bombing along with Werner, Sonny, and let's just say Johnson, I feel that attack can be very dangerous, especially teams that play open, not really
Yeah.
the teams that play the low block. So it will be interesting because, like I said, I rate Werner as one of the technically better passers in the fountain third, better than Johnson and Kulu. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, but I don't care, but I tell the truth. Johnson,
Just quickly, does anyone get the feeling this is going to be one of those signings where every game he doesn't score, it's going to be, yeah, he's crap every time he does score. We told you he's amazing. And there's going to be no in between with our fan base, is there? There's going to be no.
I think Savva, the will for a player to do well should be more important than somebody being right or wrong.
I massively agree with you.
This guy's coming to a club. He sees an opportunity. He's chosen to come because Ange has clearly sold it to him in the way they did with Dragusin. Because whether it be it or not, the guy gave his word. Some people say he's crazy choosing Spurs over Bayern Munich. Maybe a lot of us would we have done the same? Who knows? But the bottom line is he came over because he believed in what we're doing at Spurs. Same as Timo Werner. We just need to hope. I don't want to have the question mark over him, but it is there. However, that doesn't mean to say just to prove my point, I want the guy to do bad. I want the guy to do well. I hope he contributes, even if he doesn't score a huge amount of goals. If he contributes to ultimately somebody else scoring, then it's all good for us. It is a gamble, guys, because we are heavily reliant on players like Richarlison, Tim, who already himself alone was enough. Brennan Johnson, who hasn't scored anywhere near enough this half of the season, and also you know.
So let me ask then.
I want to.
There's doubts.
There's another point I want to add to that as well. Like Ange Postecoglou always says, he wants what? Attitude over talent. He wants a person to be the right kind of man more so than the right kind of player because he can get them to be what he wants them to be. So for me, this is a guy that was kicked off the German team because he was starting to fall. And I think he was getting injured. So he got dropped from the German. Euros are coming up and he's trying to get fit to get back into the Germany squad. You think that Timo Werner wants to come here and just fluff around for 6 months? If he comes here and he gets some goals, he checks off a few things, because as a man, when you show up to a different country and you're trying to prove yourself and prove your worth, and you have a constant negative just sound in your ear, right? That could play a role in it. But now he gets a chance to come back and rectify, prove all of them wrong. This is his chance to do that. Prove that you're good enough for the German squad. Work yourself back into the Euros. This is a guy, I know they always said, well, what did he do at Leipzig? Why is Leipzig so reluctant to loan him out, right? Because if he was so good. Well, let's remember, Openda, the guy, I think that's how you say his name, the guy who took his position from him is actually really, really good. And so he was also coming back from an injury as well. And I just see it as like an opportunity where this guy's got a chance to prove a lot of people wrong, prove a lot of doubters wrong, and prove to himself that he is good enough. And what more do you want when your back's against the wall? That's when you're going to fight the hardest. And his back is against the wall as far as Timo Werner's career and like how people perceive him.
I agree. No Iggy. Wait, Iggy. No Iggy. No Iggy. No Iggy. No Iggy. No. Iggy, stop it. Stop
Box
it.
office knows best.
Look, first of all, I tell you what. I mean, I probably unlike you lot, I'm reading all the comments, and Jesus, it is lively in there. There are some
I don't get
crazy debates going on in there.
You know what, Savva? I get the question mark. I get not being totally bowled over. I don't get the hate for somebody who's not even worn a shirt yet. who's not even stepped on the pitch yet. I don't get the
Yeah,
hate.
Yeah, I was gonna say he did wear a shirt. They had a
I
video.
get the
of him wearing a
question
shirt.
mark. I get the doubt. I get that. If you tell me you have doubts, if you tell me you have the question mark, I get that. It's understandable.
So,
The facts tell you. But to hate the geezer before he's even stepped on the pitch,
yeah,
it's
look,
beyond my
I think
comprehension.
there's a real difference. I think there's a real difference, right? So for me, I'm going to say that, yeah, I'm very much, okay, I'm not sold. But you know
Of
what?
course.
You know what?
Understandable.
This is on Postecoglou. He wants him, right? I'm not saying that in a bad way, by the way. This is all managers of all clubs. You want him. You've got him. Hopefully it's when he makes it work, we turn around and go, that's why you're the manager. That's why you're paid the big bucks. That's why we love you, right? Equally, I'm somebody that very much thinks this is on him either way. If it doesn't work, it can't just be, oh, well, it was just a loan. No, hang on. No. That's the bloke you bought in. That was one of our signings. So you do have to make it work. But I'm going to say this. If the guy, if he plays every game, right? 18 league games. You forget a cup at the moment. 18 league games we've got left. If this guy can contribute something in some bigger games, can come in and play a pivotal part, I've got no reason as a Spurs fan not to be happy with that. I can put aside my question mark over him right now. But I think we've got to stop. Iggy, you were spot on. It's got to stop being in the mud. Oh, I'm right. You're right. He's wrong. She's wrong. It's like, it doesn't matter. The greater of Spurs is better. So I'm going to move the conversation on. With that being said, do we all agree that he should go straight into the 11 at Old Trafford? And what is the front three going to be at Old Trafford?
100% he should go straight there. That tells you what I think about our forwards on our club. He should start over Brian Hill. If Brian Hill's still here, if you believe the rumors, he's going to Florentina or somewhere in La Liga. Manor Solomon is not, to my knowledge, fit yet to play. So of course he definitely goes to start in the front three, and I would expect a front three of Johnson, Richarlison, and Timo. Yeah, Werner. And I'm hoping that he will be the one to assist Richarlison, because like I said, in regards to Johnson, from what I've seen, I know it's harsh. I just think he doesn't cut it for me in regards to providing assists, providing opportunities for Spurs. So yeah.
So does anyone go with a different front three than Johnson right, Richie through the middle, and Werner left?
It would only be different. Lo Celso's injured, isn't he? So that will put Kulu in the 10 because
Lo Celso's injured
apparently. So
again.
Yeah, he's got.
Who would have thought it?
He's done.
Who would have
That's
thought
the reason
it?
why. If Lo Celso was free, considering we haven't got Maddison, you probably would say maybe Kulu, Richarlison, and Werner. But look, again, I think Werner, based on what we've got at the moment, would go straight into the team. And then it's up to him to do the business. If he does, then people will be like, fair play. If he doesn't, then people will be like, this is why we didn't get him in. That would be the front three. I don't think you can make a valid claim for anybody else being on that left-hand side. I honestly don't.
Anyone else? Is that the front three? Is that what we're left with? Is that the front three? No one... I'm just playing devil's advocate. No one thinks that Dane Scarlett gets a run out.
No. Unless Maddison,
He couldn't even
shocked,
get Ipswich side. What are we doing?
I think if there's a shock, Maddison comes into the team, so only something like that can change the dynamics. But otherwise, I agree with the guys. There's no way. Who are you going to start on that left-hand side, guys? It's got to be him, right? So Richarlison is going to play through the middle because Son is not available. So Richarlison gets his spot there, and that leaves the right-hand side with Lo Celso counting himself out. Unless we go with three midfield, like a workhorse midfield, and we put Kulu out on the right, it will be Kulu in the 10. I agree with Alan. It will be Kulu in the 10, and maybe Brennan Johnson on the right-hand side. But it goes back, and we'll probably set up more with fast forward playing. Using
so I'll ask you, Icky, with that front three, if we're saying Richie down the middle, Werner left, and Johnson right, and then you've got Kulu that's going to be in the midfield with Bentancur and Skip. I think that's pretty much what we've got right at the moment. with that in mind, is there enough? I'm not saying Man U are great before everyone has a pop. You know when you say something, you can already feel the comments that are going to come back.
Yeah.
Not saying Man U are great, but is there enough there in your mind, enough guile to break Man United down at Old Trafford?
Listen, I think we'll probably go with more of a work man midfield and play Kulu out on the right. I think, in my thing, there's because it's still Man United away. I know it's not the greatest Manchester United, but our record over there is really awful. So we really need to try and stay, try and compete, at least compete to the final, to the end against them. I will probably go more likely to go with a. But then again, how many of those midfielders are there? Who have you got? Højbjerg.
Yeah, you got Højbjerg, Skip, Bentancur, and Kulu are the only four I think.
That's it. That's what we're talking. That's what we're talking. It's not the greatest scenario, guys. I must say, it would have been great to have Lo Celso available because that would have given us another little dynamic, make it a bit more technical midfield. But essentially, that's the options. You either go with Kulu on the right and play the three midfielder, Højbjerg, Skip, and Bentancur, or you play Kulu in the middle and you play Johnson on the right with two workhorses in midfield. It's a tough one, man. It is because they listen at home and against Spurs. They Man United. They fancy their chances against us. So
yeah, it's an interesting one, guys, isn't it? Because Man United are so erratic as a football club. Like every time Man U lose a game and the Man U fans go, right, if we lose this one, Ten Hag's gone. And I remember half-time against Aston Villa, they're 2-0 down at Old Trafford. The boos were deafening. And everyone's going, he's gone. He's gone. They come out. They win 3-2. The next thing you know, I see Man United fans going, you know what? If we keep playing like that, and then the next game, they go to Nottingham Forest and they lose. But they're a funny team, Man United. But what they have got, guys, and this is what I'm intrigued about the lineup for the game.
Forward line, man.
What they have got is pace. Now, what we don't like in behind us and where we've been getting, I don't want to say battered in terms of losing games, but where we've been getting a lot of heat on our back four in the last 5, 6, 7 games, is teams going down those channels with pace. Bournemouth did it brilliantly. Brighton did it brilliantly. Everton did it brilliantly. Wolves did it brilliantly. We've got to be careful of that, right, Jacob, with the likes of Garnacho, with the likes of Marcus Rashford. I'm not saying they're brilliant, but pace and getting in behind is going to be interesting, right?
I guess the first thing that would make me feel a little bit better about those results and those matches that you just mentioned, Savva, all of those, we were missing Van de Ven, we were missing Romero in some of them as well. So I think having one, if not both of them back in the starting lineup should help at least. It's not going to completely nullify them attacking those channels, right? That's a given. We've seen since week 1 versus Brentford, United week 2. We've seen teams, Palace, Luton, everyone had chances in front of our net. Everyone can attack those channels because that's the nature of the reality when you have those inverting fullbacks, that space right there, especially if that space is supposed to be monitored by an Emerson Royale playing out of position. That is absolutely where you would attack those, is on your left side if I'm an opposing manager. So for me,
isn't that also though, Jacob? Sorry, just cut in. Isn't that? Yeah. It doesn't matter who's playing there. The nature of our formation with how inverted Udogie and Porro are. Naturally, if you were going to attack a Tottenham team, you're going to go down the channels, right? I don't know if this is just basic. If I'm the manager playing against Spurs, I am saying you've got to get down the line. And I'm just. Sorry, Jacob, let me put this another way. I'm just looking back to the second half of Man U versus Villa. And Villa played not a high line, but a high-ish line. And it was like Garnacho and Rashford. It was like on repeat. They kept doing that same move. That's my only worry. I don't think they've got anything else. That's my worry.
Yeah. No, I'm fully confident, especially if Romero's out there. Let him get a little taste of Garnacho. Let him say, hey, welcome to Argentina, my friend. Give him a little bit of that.
Get a 3-game suspension.
No, just a little smooch, a little shoulder. You know what I mean? A little bit. Hey, how you doing? As I like to call him.
I'm here.
You know, you're Savva. You're one of the guys you like to talk about the history, man. Can we get back to the physical aspect of the sport, because I miss that and I like it. And I think you have players like Garnacho, Brian Hill. You give them.
Did you see the penalty that Man United got the other night what's
From
his
Bruno
name?
Fernandes.
Come on, man.
Fernandes.
We're looking at the physicality, and then he gets a penalty for that.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is like I want there to be some, well, obviously we don't want to talk about refereeing continuity, etc. with that, but you know, defensively I think we'll be better if it's just Van de Ven or if it's Van de Ven and Romero that come back healthy this week. Honestly, I think both of those things, I feel better about allowing those chances down the channels, to answer your question.
Yeah, no. I completely agree. Anybody else?
Werner's starting. I think Werner's starting. To answer the question, Werner
Yeah,
is
yeah,
starting.
Werner
on the
started,
left.
but-
Werner's starting. Yeah. Werner's starting for me. I'm starting him. He's played there before. Go ahead.
But listen, it's a big game, Alan. I'll come to you. I want to change the question slightly to move it on, and then after we've talked about Man United, we're going to go on to a couple of other subjects. It's a big game, right? Because when you look at the table, hang on, I'm going to bring the table up. When you look at the hang on, if I've remembered, I'm on StreamYard all day. I should know how to use StreamYard by now. I should be proficient. If you look at the Premier League table, there, guys. I mean, we're nestled nicely for where we want to be as a football club. I think we're nestled nicely in there. But this is how
1
quickly
point
things
behind
change.
title contenders is a nice space, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, depends if you think they're title contenders. I mean, I don't
heard
see
from
Arsenal as
Liverpool
title
fans
contenders.
all season. Liverpool fans been picking Arsenal to be the ones to take the title away from City. If I'm supposed to listen to my peers in my community,
those
what are
Liverpool
they
fans
saying?
are taking the heat off their own club because they're expected to try and take the title.
That's a good point.
My point was, it's an interesting game, isn't it? Because whilst we're tucked in nicely there, I think everyone would agree we're sitting in a nice place. This is how quickly things change. If Liverpool beat Bournemouth at the weekend and we lose to Man United, that's 9 points for me, done. I'm not saying we're going to win the league. I'm not going to get into that conversation. But for me, what that does straight away is it allows one of those bigger boys to be gone from us. So this is a big game if we want to keep on those coattails, right, Alan?
Look, it's a massive game, and you hit the nail on the head, which is what I was going to say, obviously, before we got to this point. Man United are absolutely awful this season, but they've always got that performance, like you say, when it looks like they're down, they're out, 10 hugs going, all this sort of thing, like they pull out a result. Now, I was going to say I feel the same in regards to the balls in behind and stuff like that. Like we see Man United, they will use their pace. But if Van de Ven and Romero are back, what you got is better quality defenders, and you can cut out or like balls over the top. If better positioning, better anticipation, better reading of the game can cut out a lot of them balls if you got yourself right. When you've got people that shouldn't be in there, a left centre back and a right centre back, you've seen so many times, they've been too far forward, too far back, not good enough to deal with tracking back, all over the place. If we've got either Romero and Van de Ven back together, or a Dragusin and a Van de Ven, or something of quality who can read the game, I think we cut out most of that. The only thing I fear in this game is Spurs. Literally, there's always a thing that happens where Spurs either get a bad call, a bad decision, something against Man United that always comes up against us. If we can have a game without something silly like that happening, I'll be absolutely disappointed if we don't go to Old Trafford with the best, strongest team we've got, which obviously includes the two top centre backs, and absolutely smash Man United. I'll be so annoyed if we do not smash Man United, because you
smash them.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Like Nottingham Forest beat them, all these teams beat them. Bournemouth smashed them. Why can't Spurs?
Smash?
Yeah.
I like
look,
that, Alan. I like that, Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it that the expectation isn't just to win at Man United. The expectation
Smash
is
them.
smash them.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just
Wow. You're more
Guys,
positive.
we got a terrible record there, man.
Oh,
I would settle with just turning up on the day.
Angel's here to
Just
break all
turning
those
up on the
myths
day.
and hoodoos.
I was there. When was I there? Was it last season? And the game was done and dusted before the half ended. I was at Old Trafford. And I was ready to hit the freeway again and just come back to North London, because we was awful that night. I just want us to compete. I want us to set up in a way that we can not focus, of course, on their strengths and how they can hurt us, and try and minimize that, but also to go there with an attacking plan and how we're planning to hurt them. Often we just go there to just kind of just hold them at bay rather than just thinking about winning the game. So look, I think we got it in us to go and win, but our record over there, guys, is really bad. And
other than Bournemouth, Amari, I'll come to you. Other than Bournemouth, their games at United lately, I'm not saying they're convincing by any stretch of the imagination, but no one's smashing them. I mean, I love I love that confidence. We've got to score 4 or 5. But Mari, one thing I feel from Spurs fans at the moment is every game at the moment we're going in, and every time I go, what scoreline are you giving? Everyone in the chat goes 4-0, 5-1. And other than the 4-1 at Newcastle against Newcastle,
we don't score that many goals. And
the 5-2 against Burnley, I don't know where people are getting this hype from. Like, we've won a lot of games, but they're never 3-0s, 4-0. Do you know what I mean? We're not smashing teams, are we?
I think people still think Harry Kane is still up there.
Yes.
Now with these chances, oh yeah. I mean, if Harry Kane was on this team with the chances that we've had, we're scoring 4, 5. We're pumping teams left and right.
Oh yeah. Now I'm talking about a title challenge and possibly winning the league. That's the difference. That's a big gun. That's what we miss. We miss that bloke who's going to get you 25, 30 goals and makes a goal out of nothing. Yeah, that's the difference, right?
Yeah, and I mean, if we could miraculously get Jimenez, that would make me so happy, because then that's a guy who could put in some goals. I'm looking at this game of either being a 1-1 draw or we sneak out maybe with a 2-1 victory. Because like I said, man, goals for us to score, mind you, Son is gone now. Sonny is gone. And yes, Richarlison is putting some goals in, but it's not consistent enough to say that, okay, it's not a purple patch. Right now, he's still in to my opinion, that he's still going through a purple patch. All right, he's scoring goals. He's banging them in. But I still don't trust that front line, especially without Sonny, to score goals. And so for me, I'm not as confident. I mean, I wish I could have that same juice that Alan's drinking.
Share it round, Alan. Share it round, mate. Come on. Let us know where you're getting it from.
I mean, I pass it along.
I sympathize with Alan a little bit because, like I understand and I hear Iggy's point when he says, like, historically we haven't done this or that. But earlier this season, Angepostecoglou broke about 5 different Spurs hoodoos and voodoos that we had looming over our head. So my theory is he's going to continue to do that. That's why I'm thinking Manchester City will score at home versus us, for good or for worse. I think all these myths and these things will be broken by Ainge. Look, records are there because they're meant to be broken, in my opinion. And I'm sure Ainge doesn't care whether we're playing at Old Trafford, we're playing at White Hart Lane, or we're playing in the parking lot. We're going to go out there and play the way that we want to play. And if we're able to do it successfully, then we can get the results. So that's why when I think about last year at Old Trafford, yes, we were awful on the day, but this isn't last year's Spurs. This isn't 2 years ago Spurs. This ain't 4 years. This is I've been calling it Super NES. I said it in the summer, Super New Era Spurs, because we are like, this is the birth of something. And Savva, I heard you on, I mean, you were on 100 shows this morning. I don't know which one it was. I heard you say it, but you said this isn't a rebuild, but we are building. And that's literally like Ainge confirms what you just said on that other show, whatever it may be. It was, I don't remember, but he said that all we've done, like when we were top of the league, he said, the league position doesn't mean anything. All we've been doing is laying a really solid foundation so far, but there's still more work to be done. We don't even look as good as we need to look. So, but for me, as long as we continue to improve week in and week out, I feel the confidence of Alan as well, because we should go in there and we should go in there and implement ourselves. I'm not saying 5, but
let me ask you a question.
If we had our starting 11, right? Our starting 11 before the Chelsea game, I would be very confident of these next tricky matchups. Literally, I'll be very confident. But because of what we have gone through, it's hard to be more confident, especially with Sonny gone. Like literally, he is our best goal poacher other than Maddison coming back. So it's a little bit more hard to trust that. I believe in the system and what Ange is implementing, that it is good to be confident because of the style of play. But it's almost like I like the movie script, but I don't like some of the actors. Like right now, we don't have Papa Malasar. He's gone. Bissouma,
And we don't look good without Sar. That's a great point.
Yeah.
So can I bring another point, Mari? Can I bring another point? So just quickly, when we're talking about we should be going to Man United and smashing them, listen, I'm here for it.
What I said.
Yeah. No, but no, what?
I said I'll be disappointed if we don't smash them. There's a difference.
Well, that's the same thing. No, Alan, no. That's the same thing. That's the same thing. That's like me saying I'd be disappointed if we didn't score 4 or 5, and then you go in, Savva, you think we're going to score 4 or 5? No. I don't think we're going to score 4 or 5.
But I'll be disappointed if we don't.
Alan, just quickly before you did that, I wanted to make my point. Right, I wanted to make my point. I love it. I love that the confidence is there, and as a fan base, we're talking about let's just go to Old Trafford and smash teams. I love it. I'm here for it. It's brilliant. The problem is I'm hearing this every game at the moment, and I think that's where I'm starting to not understand what is genuine and what is just now hype every game. If you look at our last, off the top of your head, guys, without thinking, don't try and think of the games. How many of our last 4 Premier League games away have we won? Quickly, go, give me a number.
We had a month for like 3 or 4 months, didn't it, away from home?
1.
See, I was right.
We've won 1 away game out of 4. Now, when we went to Brighton, listen, by the way, I'm here hosting, playing devil's advocate, right? It would be boring if I just said, yeah, we're going to smash them. I heard when we went to Brighton, they've got loads of players out. Brighton have. We're going to smash these. They took us apart, right? Wolves, yeah. Spurs, we're going to beat Wolves. Chelsea was a blip. Wolves beat us, but we didn't play well, right? Man City, we got a draw, right? Man City, we got a draw. And then the other game, we beat Forest away, but it wasn't a convincing performance. So this belief that we're just going to rock up to away grounds and batter them. Before that, we scraped to win v Palace, if anyone remembers, and we scraped to 1-0
Yeah, we got
Luton.
2 goals with 1 shot on target.
Right.
Efficiency.
So listen, I'm not here to be negative. Please don't think I'm doing that. I'm not here to say we can't win. I'm not here to do that. But I do think that when we're just saying we should roll through all these teams, I just can't quite understand, Alan, where this positivity, not positivity. I can't understand where this level of positivity has come from, where we've not done it in any of our last 6 or 7 away games. We've not been doing it, but now we're talking like we're just going to sweep everyone aside. What is it, Alan? Talk to me.
It's not sweeping everyone aside, because I pretty much haven't said that we sweep.
You just said we would smash them.
Let me finish, Savva. Let me finish. I said about sweeping everyone aside beforehand. When I've given my score predictions in previous weeks, it's all been very tight. I don't go every week it's 3 or 4-0. Now, people are saying I'm flip-flopping. I'm absolutely not. I just corrected the actual sentence I said. That's not flip-flopping. Here's the reason why. People are saying that you went away
Alan.
I love me some
a little
Alan.
flip-flopping, a little flip-flopping.
Hold on. I've just corrected the actual sentence.
I'm not changing what I said. I'm just ching the words of the sentence.
I've just corrected because people didn't correct it.
I'm hearing the flip-flopping.
There's no flip-flop. If you allow me to talk, I'll explain why. We went away to City and everyone's like, we're getting absolutely smashed. With Emerson, with Davies, with Brian Hill on the pitch and all that.
Yeah, but that's City.
No,
We'll turn them over on the 26th as well, don't worry.
But this is not the same Man United team. This is the Man United team that makes me fearful that when we've gone there all the time, where they've absolutely smashed us sometimes. You've got the likes of who? Anthony just likes to do pirouettes on the side of the pitch. Garnacho that hits and misses whenever he wants. Rashford who's out of form. Ericsson who isn't the same player anymore. Mainu who's a good youngster, but would I say he controls the midfield? Absolutely not. Bruno Fernandes that spends most time complaining to referees and officials and actually focusing and playing football, being a captain. They turned it on when the pressure was on against Villa, but before that, they get absolutely outplayed by Nottingham Forest. They get absolutely smashed by Bournemouth. They've had it this season where they've been dominated by most teams. All of a sudden, Spurs fans are sitting there going, "Oh, we're Spurs. We're challenging for the top 4. We're different underage. We're making these signings. We're positive and all that." And then it comes to Man United, and you go, "Oh no, we're going to just typical Man United. We're going to lose." No, I'm sorry. I'm going to keep the same energy.
Hang on. No. I loved all of that speech. I loved all of that Churchillian speech until the lie at the end. Until that, and you said we're going to lose. Whoa! No one said that. I just listen. I think it's going to be 2-2 or 3-2 Spurs. I'm just wary that every game now, what we're doing is I see these trends. I'm on YouTube, I think, all day, every day, right? I'm seeing these trends. Every game, 5-0 this, 4-1 this, 6-1 this, right? And I'm sitting there going, oh, I just don't think it's going to be that. Then when it's not that, it's because you were negative. Like, no, it's because we don't. I jinxed it. I jinxed all the 5-0s and 6-0s. I don't look at that forward line, and I hope I'm wrong. I don't look at that forward line and that midfield with the creativity and say this team can score 4 or 5 past anyone.
Yeah,
Also, we're going to Man United, and we've done it with all the teams when we've gone to play the big teams. We've gone there to play football. Normally, when we go to Man United, we go and sit back and absorb and soak up and try and hit on a counter attack. We're not doing that this time around. We're going to go and we're going to play. We're going to control the ball. This is what I'm saying. If we only come away with a 1 or 2-0,
are we?
2-1. No, we will be doing that. That's how we play. If we come away with a 1 or 2-0 win, or 2-1 win, I'll be like, nah, they were there for the taking.
Alan, what if it's Skippy and Højbjerg in midfield? Are we going there and controlling the ball?
If it's Skippy and Højbjerg in midfield, when you've got the likes of Benacer and all that, then I'm going to have words of Ange because he's bottling.
Ange, I'm not happy.
United got that kid Kobe, and he's mighty impressive. That kid. I don't know if you guys have seen that kid Kobe. Forget his last name.
Kobe Mainu. Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah. To be honest, the last few games, the part of the field that where we haven't dominated is actually the middle, and I feel like that's where we need to return to. Yeah. It's that's what's let up. The goals, of course, not scoring, it doesn't help. But I feel like that middle of the park, for me, there's not been enough control. And I think we need to, again, we are heavily relying on the Bissoumas and rightly so, and the SARs, which are not here, and Maddison and so forth. And when you don't have those players, our midfield is not quite as fluid, and it's not quite as, the balance isn't quite right in between those, like Højbjerg and Skip and Kulu. That I'm not talking about so much individually, but as a trio, it doesn't quite work. It doesn't have the same fluidity.
I think even if
we're gonna miss Lo Celso because
we're gonna miss Lo Celso.
Are we?
Don't miss Lo Celso. What are you talking about? That's like missing a dad who ain't even been there. He showed up at your 10th birthday. I'm 21 now, Dad. Where are you? Depending on what, he ain't done nothing but bought me a juice box when I was 5 years old. You're talking about we're gonna miss this guy. You can't miss what you don't have.
He's injured. He's injured again, Mari. This guy is injured more than I have dinners every day. Like, he's injured all the time.
I'd rather have an injured Lo Celso than Højbjerg and Skip, especially Højbjerg.
I'm telling you, if it's Højbjerg, I would prefer Højbjerg over Skip personally. But if it's Kulusevski, Bentancur, and Skip or Højbjerg, whoever, look, we have a depleted midfield, and we still had over 67% possession versus. I know it's a Burnley, but let's have it right. What does United have that Burnley doesn't? Marcus Rashford, who's not lethal, a Garnacho who could score a bicycle kick versus Everton, and what else do they have? Anthony's going to do pirouettes on the ball. What are we talking about? Like, I'm not concerned about them scoring goals.
Don't jinx it, because if Anthony has listen,
his first Premier League ever goal.
Right.
He's gonna have a worldie now.
At Old Trafford, you know what I mean? And we're all gonna blame Jacob, right? We're all blaming Jacob.
And he starts off the move with a pirouette on the ball. That would be the gravy maker. But no, look, I do have to jump. I would love to continue this conversation,
you jump, Jacob.
But Manchester United, I do want to tell you, guess who's going to be? It's going to bleed into the point that you were making earlier, Savva, of how divisive Timo Werner is. He's going to get a debut goal, and if you don't think he's going to, he's of course going to. And then he's not going to score or assist for 3 or 4 matches, but it's going to be. But look what he did in the first game. So I love it. I can't wait for the controversy. And I think all of us this week will be saying Timo. as he hits that game winner at Old Trafford. So big up everybody in the chat. Make sure you are hitting a like. Make sure you are subscribing to everybody on this panel. All right, so don't be a fraud. I see y'all in the chat acting like frauds, not liking the video. What's wrong with you?
Yeah,
Anyway,
man.
y'all have a good rest of
Absolutely.
your day, and remember, Timo, he's gonna lift us up this weekend. Just wait on it. All right, cheers.
Big up to you. Listen, before we oh, hang on, what's happening there? Before we move on,
This comment. Z
This
Gold.
one?
By the
Oh,
sounds-
go on.
yeah, Z Gold. By the sounds of this, you're a Man United fan. Alan, we had 69% possession versus Bournemouth at home. You had 48% possession. That's fantastic. You got smashed 3-1 by Bournemouth. We beat them 3-1, didn't we? So, and what? Congratulations. You can have 69% and have 0 points. Good for you.
I'll tell you what, someone needs to hand Alan a mic for all these points where he can just drop it at the end of each one of his sentences. Listen, just quickly, before we go on to the next point, I'm going to move away from Man United. Before we do, I tell you what, Jacob wasn't wrong. There's 520 of you in here and 291 likes. Come on, people, we should be on 350 minimum. 400 likes. Smash that like button. If you would like to subscribe, please do. We've had 6 or 7 throughout the show, but let's get a few more. If everyone right now could smash the subscribe button if you haven't already, and subscribe to Time Added On and to Tottenham Away as well, that would be absolutely brilliant. Just quickly, AJ has said, has said a super chat, but I don't know what this means. Team McWilliams, my point exactly. Is this Timo Werner averages 1 goal or an assist every 1.78 games? Is that what this is?
So
what time frame is that from?
I think that's. I think they're saying that's overall. I don't know if that's true, but I think that's what it is.
If it is, the problem with stats is how much of that was from 4 years. Hey, listen, AJ, thank you so much. Listen, let's hope this is what he does in a Spurs shirt. All right. Let's hope this is what he does in a Spurs shirt. We'll take that. Big up to you, AJ. Nicholas Walker has come in with a super chat and said, any chance we play with a back 3/5 wing backs and only 2 mids? I can't see it. I can't see it. Anyone?
We're not going to improvise it away against Man United, are we?
No.
Maybe during a match it can happen, but never from the start.
Yeah. I think there will be a time in the season where, because I think it's an extra option now he has of possibly playing the back 3 and, like I said earlier, and having the 2 guys bomb. But I don't see that happening in this game or, this early. But I think it is an option that he may
an option B.
Yeah,
during the game, never from the start. I can't see that happening.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's nice that we've got the option to do it now with the centre backs, but I think it would take away a lot of Ange's style of play in terms of the inverted, the midfield kind of triangle. I think it would change a lot.
2 fullbacks coming inwards.
Yeah.
In regards to that Timo stat, it's club career average.
Okay.
1.78.
Got it. Richard Pugh, big up to you, Richard. Always in here, always asking people to have a like party. And now he's taken the plunge and become a channel member. Big up to you, Richard. Really appreciate it. I will, in the next 10 days or so, have a channel member only show. Apologies. I've been doing about 9-10 hours a day on YouTube at the moment. And trying to fit these shows in is tough. So I will get to it. But thank you so much, Richard. And then the last super chat here from Team McWilliam. Thank you very much. I think it's the second big super chat of the day from you. Did in an earlier show. I said, look up his scoring, G8 and assists in all games for Chelsea. Not a mug. He was an excellent contributor. Fantastic addition to our forward setup. Look, you know what? As my mum used to say, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, right? We'll know the answer to this in 18 games' time. And also, so first of all, thank you very much for the super chat. Also, Team McWilliam, when people are saying to me, and I see this all the time, I don't know if you boys do in your chats, rate the window out of 10, I don't rate windows out of 10 because you can't rate it now. We'll only know at the end of the season when we've seen what impact the players who have come in have actually had. That's how you rate it for me, not what are they on paper. So that's why I don't do that. Guys and girls, Man City away, home even. Man City home in the FA Cup, 4th round. I've seen a lot of people going, good, I wanted City. Yeah, if you're going to win it, you've got to beat the best teams. I'm of the opinion, I don't want the best team in the world in the fourth round of the FA Cup. I don't care if we've got a good record against them at home. Where are you guys with this? Am I crazy for not wanting this game in the FA Cup fourth round?
Well, given the teams that are still in it, of course not. Who would say, yeah, Man City? If you're going to have Man City, the best chance you do have is at home. Absolutely agree with that. But no, who would have wanted that? You look at all the other teams that are still in it. That, you know, it's not the one that anyone would have wanted. Any team would have wanted to swerve Man City for as long as possible. But listen, it's here now. We've got to deal with it. And the good thing about it is that we got both Manchester clubs in this month. And and that's it. Those are the only two games to focus on. Hopefully, by the time Man City comes round, we would have recovered. I want to say we at least have Maddison in the squad, or we'll have the closest we've had in a long time, probably. The best team available to us. Obviously not Son, but and the other two lads. But again, it's just another couple of weeks more would have been brilliant, isn't it? I would have said maybe having Man City the next round would have been better than having them now. But you know, it's here now.
I'm at the same pot. Viggy, like
we're gonna smash them. Go on, Alan.
No, not Man City. No. Look, we normally don't concede to them at home, but knowing it'll be the FA Cup and they'll come and whoop us, like no, you just know it's going to happen. But people going, oh, I wanted Man City. And we're like, no. We haven't had a trophy in so long. I want all the lower league teams as much as possible until we get to the semi-final final, and obviously just have a good run in the semi-final final to get a trophy over. There's no way you're sitting there going, I want Man City to come out. I want Man City to come out. Everyone was going beforehand. Let's get a good run. Let's get a good run.
I want Eastleigh at White Hart Lane. I want Eastleigh at White Hart Lane. Yeah.
These fans were like, oh, let's say face. Yeah, I'll puff chest out. I want Man City. No, nobody wants Man City in the fourth round. You want to get them later on in the competition or avoid them altogether. But it is what it is. We're going to have to hopefully do what we normally do at home, and that's beat them without conceding or scoring without conceding, and then we're through to the next round. But no, you'd want an easier run to begin with. You really would, considering how we've gone out of cups recently.
This is the same fan base that you go on X or Twitter, as we call it, and because Dragon picked us, and I'm happy Dragon picked us.
Some of us don't.
But apparently we are a bigger club than Bayern. And I'm like, oh, okay, slow your roll, right? I just came back from Mexico City. I see Bayern jerseys, right? I can't even find a Tottenham jersey in Mexico City, all right? I see Arsenal, Chelsea, like calm, slow your roll, you know? And so I think our fan base, you know, people just, whatever works for them, they want to find that extra motivation. But I know back in the mind, they're like, oh, crap, we get you know, and that's how I felt like. I'm like, crap, got to say this early. Man, at least in the later rounds, all right, Sonny will be back, Maddison will be back. All right, we'll take our chances. But where we're still in this predicament and we're playing them at the end of the month, I'm like, yeah, they're gonna finally score a goal in our stadium. You know,
I think that's what I was going to say, Maury. Listen, by the way, I get it. Football is cliche central, right? To be the best, you've got to beat the best. You've got to play them at some point. People saying things that I just can't get on board with. Sorry, guys, like this. That I'd rather go out in the fourth round to City rather than in the semi. For me, no, I want a cup run. I want a cup run because cup runs breed confidence and galvanise the fan base. Cup runs are also what galvanise a squad, right? Cup games are where people then in the league games that will be playing better because they want to be involved in that semi-final or that final. For me, I can't. This is how I think that the Spurs fan base has changed so drastically in the last 20 years, Iggy. We were saying the other day.
There's no negative going as far into the cup competition as possible. No negatives whatsoever. I disagree with it. I think, you know what this tells me? It's just it's all about managing disappointments or potential disappointments. If you go
I
out
agree.
early enough, you can avoid
Right.
a further worse disappointment further down the line. No,
Look
it's
what
it's
happened.
not, it's not my way of thinking. I
Yeah,
can't think like that.
Look what happened in the Premier League last season. Arsenal put all their eggs in the Premier League basket. Man City just carried on winning game after game, winning, and then ended up winning a treble. Arsenal ended up with nothing. Winning breeds confidence. Going far and deep into tournaments.
It's not even that. It's like at the end of the day, if you don't meet your target, you should be disappointing. That's the first thing. And I said this not long ago, Sav. I think it might have been on this show. I said there's no better feeling than waking up on a Saturday morning knowing that you're playing a cup final. There's no better feeling that it's cup final day and your team's in it. It's an absolute.
Yeah.
It's such a massive buzz, and you want to experience that. It doesn't matter. Of course, you want to win the cup, of course. But that feeling of waking up, knowing that you're playing a cup final that day, as a player, as a manager, as a fan, it's the best. You cannot beat it.
By the way, there's a couple of things I just want to say. Like, first of all, Laurie, it's just a turn of phrase. If I say our fan base, obviously I don't mean 100%. I'm just people pick up on such little nuances, don't they? And just hammer you for it. Don't be hyperbolic. There are negatives to a cup run. Increased player fatigue and more games. I hate to break it to you, Pyramid. I don't think you're a Spurs fan. If you are, I apologise. I'm pretty sure I've seen you haven't. This is a Tottenham squad that have only played 21 games of football this season. Everyone else in that top 10, other than us, all the other 9, if I'm not wrong, have all played 20 Premier League games plus a minimum of 6 European games plus more cup games than us because we went out of the League Cup. I'm sorry, if we're saying increased player fatigue and we're playing once a week, what is listen, Itro, by the way, listen, I don't do blanket statements. Dude, I saw you having a pop at me in my chat before. I saw you having a pop at me in Sean's chat before. I remember everything. I know what you're about. Blanket statements. Sorry, if ever I say it again, Iggy, Alan and Murray, please correct me. If I say our fan base, please correct me so that I can caveat and say, sorry, 72% of our fan base. God, these people, it's a free show and you're all moaning. Stop it. Look, guys, the key thing for me is I keep seeing things like we don't fear Man City. And okay, take what you want. I fear Man City. They're the champions of Europe, right? I also fear Man City because Man City have won one game, right? They've lost one game in 18. So all these people going, they're not playing well at the moment. One defeat in 18 games and they've won 8 of their last 9, right? They've kept something like 6 clean sheets in the last 8, right? They're averaging 3.1 goals a game at the moment without Erling Haaland for the last 8 games. Yes, I fear them. I don't mind admitting that. But, Iggy, what I want to say is this whole they don't score at our ground, that's never going to be forever.
No, it's just something that we're holding on to. It's something that we're holding on to. We've got to have something because if we go by what you just said, we got no chance against Man City. They're the treble champions. They just won the World Cup and the World Club Cup in a few weeks ago. These guys are the real deal, man. There's no two ways about it. But for what we can, we seem to have that thing over them. It's psychological. It's become psychological a little bit now. Don't get me wrong. If they're on their day, we've got no chance. It's as simple as that. If they're on it on that day, but what we do have in our armor is that psychological boost that we have. That when they come to our ground, they haven't scored a goal. They haven't won it. They haven't even got. I don't think they've even got a point at our ground. So listen. It's a cup game. Yes, we are a little bit depleted, especially in the middle of the park. I've said this even for the Man United game. That does worry me a little bit. But you know what? If you're going to have that game, and I think the fans, I have to say that, especially I say I call it White Hart Lane. I always will.
Yeah,
but
me too.
White Hart Lane, I always feel that the fans, man, they always give us a little bit something, especially against like games versus Man City. So I think it's gonna be tough. But listen, I think we can more than do it. But like I said, if these guys are on their day, they're a handful for anyone.
Alan, I'll come to you. And listen, by the way, guys, I'm trying to find talking points, so please don't get upset. Alan, one of the key things is when you play Man City, they will make teams run for the ball. That's what they do, right? They keep the ball, keep the ball, keep the ball. They tire everybody out. My concern is we're talking about, will Romero be back by then? Will Maddison be back by then? Van der Ven. This is going to be, if we're talking about all these players, that's going to be a lot of players that have just come back from massive injuries, chasing around a lot. So obviously, I'm not going to give a prediction until I see what the teams are, et cetera, et cetera. But this is going to be a tough game against a team that are now in form. When we played them before, they were ropey. They're in form now. They're scoring goals for fun. And they've got Kevin De Bruyne back. I don't know if anyone remembers him. And Erling Haaland's back this weekend. And Jeremy Doku is back. Yeah. It's going to be tough, right?
It will be a very tough game against Man City, regardless of when we play them. But like Higgy said, and I was going to say the same thing, but he beat me to it. It could be a psychological thing because, look, Man City put most teams to the sword, but they have problems against Spurs. And it seems to be like we're their bogey team or however you want to put it. Like, the last time I think they beat us at home was when we were at Wembley, when they beat us 1-0 after the Champions League, when we knocked them out. Away, like at theirs, they've had more than we've had at theirs, but we've got good results against them in the last 3 or 4 managers. So I think it could be a psychological thing. Pep, the big bad Pep Guardiola, has literally said, "What do you want next year? I want to score a goal at Spurs because obviously they haven't done it." So to have reduce the manager to pretty much begging on TV, we've got to be doing something right. Having these players come back from injury, I think it's one of them things where I think they'll tire quite early, maybe but like 60 to 70 minutes. But we've seen this team do bits without obviously the main players being there. So that's how we've maintained where we are in the league. So the drop off isn't as big as it was, but look, it's one of them where you want to go far in the tournament. You have to at times when you do get up against the best, you have to beat them. And I think on our day we can beat City. We do it quite a lot.
Sure.
Have that positive mental attitude that Man City are coming to there, and you're going in a mindset of go, well, we always beat them here. Let's do it, and have that mindset rather than fear. Oh, it's Man City. Because as soon as you go...
of course. Listen, by the way, I've not once said, I'm just asking questions, I've not once said that I think we're going to get smashed or whatever. I'm going to wait until I see the lineups and make my decision. All I know is if we don't stop, Mari, if we don't stop what we've been doing in the last 6, 7, 8 games where we're giving up 19 chances to Everton, 19 chances to Brighton, 24 chances against Bournemouth, you can do that against those teams. You cannot do that against Man City. You cannot, because they're not going to keep having off days in front of goal. And my last point on this, Marin, I'd like you to answer as well, to give you a lot to talk about, is when you look at it, it would be awful. If we go out of this, it means that we're out of both cups in the 3rd round and the 4th round in a season where we had no Europe. Whichever way we look at it, that's not good, is it?
Yeah. To go on your first point, I've said this on another show. I think I said it on the show with you that this Premier League, the finishing, I watch a lot of these games, has been atrocious in comparison to the football I grew up watching, where people will not miss their dinners. The Batistutas, the Zaghis. Watching Serie A when I was young and watching. Yes, the chances were a few, but those guys, they executed. And watching football back then, the Michael Owens, not waste their dinner. I think this year has been horrible on a whole spectrum of watching Liverpool, Arsenal, watching some of these games and watching even City miss their chances. But I agree with you in the sense that sooner or later they're going to execute. And so if we give a lot of chances,
and they are at the moment, by the way, they're averaging 3.1 goals a game for the last 8 games without Erling Haaland or De Bruyne. That's scary.
Yeah.
They're on fire.
Julian Alvarez, love the guy. He is playing out of his socks. He's going to be going to Real Madrid. I'm telling you now, he's not going to stay there long from what I'm hearing from Argentina. But But yeah, they're starting to finish, and if we're giving them those clear cut chances, and I'm talking about the clear cut chances, they will finish their dinner, and so that's where we're gonna have to do better defensively, because sooner or later, and like you said, these last 8 games, they're starting to finish their dinner. So that's going to be a problem. And then the second point, in regards to, I think people are going to be more reasonable and say, "Oh, the draw at the FA Cup, it's City, we're eliminated." But the Carabao Cup, and this is the only thing I know I got hate for it. I think you support what we were saying in that. I think Ange got it wrong in the Carabao Cup, especially you got teams like Fulham that's still in there and stuff. I felt like that was our chance, and he wanted to see the B team, and we're like, dude, the B team is bad. Like, you don't need to see it. Let's go for it. And so I'm not the ones who say you can't criticize Ange. I'm like, you can criticize anybody. You can criticize your priest, your president, whoever. And that's probably the number one complaint I have against Ange, is just that the Carabao Cup, I thought he got it wrong. And I'm going to say it still to today. We should have gone for it, especially because we don't have Europe. And so I thought he had the Carabao Cup wrong. But I could give a pass for the FA Cup because we're playing City, which is their beast,
Yeah. I get it. Listen, it's when fans start saying things like this. I hate jinxing things. Like when Royal had Haaland in his pocket. Do you mean that Haaland didn't finish a couple of chances that he would normally finish? The huge difference between saying he was in the pocket. He hit the post, didn't he? Dragged one wide. Listen, I'm not saying we can't win. Guys, I'd like to get some predictions for both games before we wrap up in the next 5 minutes. I'll go round at first. We're talking about the Man United game. Man United away this weekend. Iggy, I'm going to start with you. I know it's always difficult without knowing the teams, but Tottenham away at Man United.
Savva, man, I'm gonna go with a score draw. I can't 1-1, 2-2. I think that's where I'm bordering on. I listen. I know people are gonna say, "Well, we should beat Man United" and all of that, but I've been at Old Trafford, and I can only remember that 6-1 win during the cup. That was just,
yeah.
I mean, that was just insane. I couldn't believe what I was seeing with my own eyes. That was the first time I'd ever seen, and there was no one in the ground, so it couldn't be more weirder if you tried.
Yeah.
And but it's a tough ground to go to, man. Yes, it's the right time to play this Man United team, but I don't trust it, man. I don't trust it one bit. So I'll take. I know it sounds a bit, to say, but I'll take a draw. I'll take a score draw. Man City at home. I think that's where.
No, we're not going there yet. We're not going there yet. We're not going there yet. So 1-0 or 2-0 is what you're going with.
Yeah,
for
I'll
Man
probably
United
go
away.
with yeah. I'd say so.
Yeah,
2-2.
1-0 or 2-0. Okay. I just want to say, sorry. I think I just want to say really, really quickly, guys. Sometimes when we talk about topics, please stop getting so irate about them. Like, oh, it's not a factor.
Just opinions, man. It's
just football topics. You guys tune into YouTube channels to watch us talk. We're going to have talks where it's all positive. We're going to have talks where we ask difficult questions. If we sit here, children, if we sit here and just say everything's great. We talked about this, Alan, didn't we, before the show? If we came on and went, do you know what? Spurs 4, Man U 0, Spurs 5, Man City 0. Everyone's great. We've signed the best players in the world. We're going to win the league. Thanks for watching. See you later. Good night. So please stop getting so frustrated when people are having conversations about the club, all right? Yes, we're having a good season, but stop talking like we're treble winners that have won everything and we've got nothing to complain about. Alan, Tottenham away at Man United this weekend.
3-0 Spurs.
3-0?
Yeah.
So you do think we're going to smash them?
Yeah. I said,
okay.
We don't. So, yeah, 3-0.
Okay, 3-0. I love it. I love it. Conviction. 2-0, 1-0 from Iggy. 3-0 from Alan. Mari, are we battering Man United 3-0?
No, but I like it. Alan. I like it. Man, I'm stuck between a Desmond Tutu or a 2-1 Spurs. You know what? Romero's coming back. EDV, Dragon might play. I think the defense. I'll go 2-1 Spurs.
I can see Murray wanted to go to 3-0 route with me. I can see him.
He really did. He really did, Murray. Come on.
Could you imagine Old Trafford if they lose 3-0 to Spurs?
He'd have to go. He'd have to go. This is my worry. Is even if they go 1-0, 2-0 down, it's almost like what we saw against them with Villa.
Let's hope we damaged them in the second half.
Cheese. Yeah, it was chalk and
damage
cheese
in the second half.
Yeah. Big up to you, Free, for that prediction. I'm going to go with. I've said I think it will be 2-2. I don't know why. I've had that in my mind all the way along. I want to be wrong. Hopefully, we'll snatch the win. I just don't think when I see people going, United are awful, United are terrible, United this is a Man United team that beat Villa at home. We couldn't beat Villa at home. Yeah. So it's things like that. So I don't turn around and just call everyone else awful when I've just watched us get absolutely embarrassed by Brighton and played off the park by Everton and Bournemouth.
I will say this, Savva, man. I honestly, if we was at full strength, as in we had our best 11, and you know the 11 I'm talking about, like with Maddison and Son and those boys in the team and Bissouma, I would have fancied our chances more. I would have probably I would have gone closer with what Alan said.
Yeah,
maybe not outright, but I think where we're a little bit short in that mid, it's the middle of the park, man. I feel that that's the area that we're going to get exploited on, not the defense. And obviously, if we're deadly enough at in that final third, but it's the worry for me. The worry's in the middle at the moment.
I agree. I've said this for a month or so now, Iggy, that I think that everyone's just blamed our centre halves for all the problems. When I'm watching us at the moment, teams are going through our midfield for fun. Now, everyone's going, Benton calls back. He might be, but people are running through him because he's clearly not fit, right? They're running through either Skip or Højbjerg, whichever one plays. So I listen, you know me. I'd love to sit here and go 3-0, 4-0.
I think it's the physical.
I think everyone thinks we're better than we are. That's
the physical side of the midfield is not quite there. We're not physically very present, not very dominant enough. We almost get bullied in that middle of the park a little bit.
When we win 3-0, we'll have a time added on appreciation show, yeah?
Listen,
mate, if we do 3-0, I'll come back on it and I'll say, Alan, I'll be like, hands up.
Do you know what, though? Every dog has its day. The problem I have, right, Alan, is obviously doing like you guys do, like as YouTube creators. Every time before a show, I go, right, everybody, give me your final score predictions. And the problem is, everyone now has got to the stage where they're talking like we are Man City. And it's 4-0, 5-0. The problem is, at some point, the score is going to be that. And people are going to go, see? That's fine. But every week at the moment, everyone, like Burnley, I was seeing 5-0, 6-1. They're rubbish. Couldn't break them down. Needed a wonder strike, right?
Low block team, man.
Right.
It happened against Sheffield United at home as well. We struggle to break teams down. More of those teams are going to come to White Hart Lane like that. We have to find the solution.
No, and
exactly.
I completely get that. When I predicted Burnley, I predicted a 2-1 to Spurs. When I predicted Brighton, I predicted a 2-1 to Spurs, like a very close scoreline. So I'm not doing this every week with the 3, 4, 5, 6 ones.
I wasn't saying you, mate. I wasn't saying you.
So I'm quite thinking that. But for the reasons I gave about this Man United team, I think as well as Man United exploited a weakness of Aston Villa's, I think Aston Villa took their foot off the gas massively. I think they just basically like the game is done and 2-0 is a very dangerous scoreline to have because you see him overturn. I think Aston Villa caused their own downfall as much as Man United improved, but it's not football that I sit there and go, oh, this is fearful. The players and how the team, like the toxic atmosphere at Old Trafford. There's loads of reasons why I think Spurs, and I'm saying I would be annoyed if Spurs don't go into discussion because they're there for the taking. If we get thumped, I'll be massively disappointed, or if we lose, I'll be massively disappointed in Ange and the players because they're there for the taking, Man United. They are.
I mean, Phil, you are definitely one, my friend. You are definitely one. Every game you come into, I love Phil, but every game he comes into my chat. 4-0 this, 5-0 this, then it never happens. And he's like, next game, straight back to it.
The thing is, Savva, man, you got to think that run of games where we won at the beginning of the season, we had a midfield of Bissouma, Sarr, and Maddison. We don't have none of the three in the team.
I know,
None.
which is why I'm not predicting
That's
these
like-
wild scores.
Which is like, it's incredible, man. We haven't got our starting midfield. None of the three are there.
I
And
know.
it's like, it worries me, man. That Lo Celso's not there. That means we could have a potential. Like I said, the midfield three, the combinations are Højbjerg, Bentancur, and Skip, or Bentancur, Skip, and Kulusevski. Those are the three. Now whichever three you want to pick has to go over to Old Trafford and dominate their midfield three.
Well,
That's where the game. That's the game was going to be won and lost there.
away to Man City,
I
we only
wouldn't
had-
mind.
We only had away to Man City. We only had Bissouma in the middle. You had what? Lo Celso, Kulusevski, Brendan Johnson, Brian Hill behind Son.
But Alan, Man City are a team. Man City are a team. They are a technical team themselves, but they also they let you play. Do you see what I mean? They let you play. They give you the ball. And if you're a technical team too, then you've got a game on. It's different with Man United. It's a different sort of midfield battle you got on there.
Different midfield
With them, you need to be physically present as well as dominant.
We're able to get a result against Liverpool by just sitting back and just like counting.
They said to Liverpool, break us down. Liverpool couldn't break them down, right?
Yes.
This is the thing. You look at Man U's last 3 league games. I don't know where they are as a team. They drew 0-0 with Liverpool at the top of the table away at Anfield. No one gave them a prayer. They were 2-0 down to Aston Villa, beat them 3-2, but then go to the City ground and lose 2-1. I don't know where we are with them. But when you look at that midfield three, Iggy, this is exactly why I don't go for crazy scorelines. Because what people with Iggy, this is what some of our fans do this. Not all. Some of our fans do this. They go, yeah, but like if we win 1-0, as people, what happened to the 3 or 4-0? But Savva, when you look at the teams, we didn't have. Yeah, but you know that right now, at the time of making predictions, you know that there is no Maddison. You know that there's no Lo Celso, Bissouma, Sarr. You know that Bentancur still isn't 100% match fit. You know that Romero and Van der Ven, if they play, have not kicked a ball for ages. You know that Werner's going to probably make his debut. So we know these things, but people still go 4-0, 5-0. I don't know what they've been watching.
I think they're just talking with chest. I think they're just talking with chest.
Oh, maybe.
Games of Man United this season where that midfield three or like a midfield three has just waved the white flag and been absolutely torn apart. So it's happened both ways. They haven't absolutely beasted.
But not by a midfield three like ours.
Like Bentancur, when you're looking at the three that will be in there, will probably be Bentancur. I'm probably sorry to say Højbjerg, but him and Kulu. I think there's plenty in there to be just as combative and just as physical.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being combative and physical and ripping someone apart, isn't there? There's a huge difference. Is there enough in that three, creativity-wise, to pull strings and tear them apart up top? And then in the front three, is there enough goals?
I reckon against this Man United team, yeah. Against this Man United team, yeah. Especially in defence as well.
What does Man U have to do with it? Richarlison couldn't finish his dinner against Burnley.
No, exactly. But Richarlison couldn't finish dinner against Burnley, but other people have finished their dinner. Like, that's how we beat Newcastle. He got 2 against Newcastle. Look, it's one of these things where if this was a Man United team that was from last season, I'd say all very tough game. But this Man United team with Evans and maybe, well, it's going to be Varane, but it probably could have been Maguire. Like, this back line of Dalot, Wan-Bissaka and that, it's just not a team that I go, oh, yeah, this is going to be like, we can't do anything against them. They're going to do this. They're going to do.
But at the same, Alan, I get you. But at the same time, we're sitting there saying that a front three of Richarlison, Johnson. I mean, Richarlison and Johnson don't scare me in any way, shape, or form. Man U at the back haven't. If you look at them in the last in their games, right? If we look at the Man United results, they've not. They let in 1 against Bayern. They didn't concede to Liverpool. Yeah. And the other games they conceded 2. It's not like they're conceding 3s, 4s, and 5s. They're not, I think we're talking about them like they are Sheffield United or Burnley, aren't we?
No, I'm not talking about whether they're Sheffield United, Burnley or anything. I'm just saying there's loads of places for Spurs to exploit this. And I think I'm not doing Spurs a disservice. I'm not even doing Man United a disservice. I just think they're there for the taking. I think you can get this team. I think the problems in their back line. I think the problems in the midfield as well. I'm not going to sit there and say a midfield three of Mainu, Eriksson, and Bruno Fernandes is going to tear this Spurs team apart. I don't see it.
I don't think anyone said they'll tear us apart. I'll go back to what I said earlier. My worry will be that they will hit the channels early. They will hit the channels early to Rashford and Garnacho every single time. And that is exactly what I don't know about you, Iggy, but if I was playing Spurs, that's all I'd do. I'd tell my wide men, get wide. Spurs will invert their two fullbacks, hit them early, let them run. Even Burnley. Now, Burnley haven't got a lot of... I never felt under threat from Burnley. But even their two wide men in the first half, the amount of ball they got. Everton did it. Bournemouth did it. Brighton did it to a T. With Pedro, Yao Pedro and Danny Welbeck. So I just think we've got just a little bit more respect, I think, that we need to show to other teams. I think we're talking about everyone like we're ripping through this league, and we're not. That's the only thing for me, Iggy. I just think we need to be a little bit more respectful. That's just me.
It will definitely be, like I mentioned, the Liverpool game. It will probably be just like that, in the sense of they're going to ask us, they're going to play the low block, they're going to expect us to break them down, and they're going to try to hit us in the counter with Garnacho, with Rashford, with Anthony, and so that's why I see it more of a draw, but I predicted a 2-1 victory, but I think it's gonna be tough. It's going to be a tougher game than.
I think it's going to be tough. I do.
Yeah.
I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to come away 3-0 and Alan can send me some mud to my house or whatever people do these days. I'd love that. But yeah, I just think, listen, I am going to end the show there. Sorry, the Man City, just really, really quickly, Man City score. Iggy, score, home to Man City, FA Cup.
1-0 Spurs.
1-0 Spurs. Alan?
Yeah, 1-0 as well. I was going to go. So I'll go different 2-1 Spurs.
Okay, so both of you think that we'll keep Man City at bay again for 90 minutes, no goals.
If there's a goal, it's late Christmas.
I'm massively relying on our defence to get us through the line here. We can get the one. I just think our defence has to be like top draw, and I think we're going to have everyone back for that game. Defensively.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have played any foot. Like the centre halves wouldn't have played.
Listen, they're probably going to batter us.
No, that's all right.
I think they're going to pile it on. I think we're going to nick it though.
What, 1-0? Okay, 1-0. Alan, did you say?
I was going to go 1-0, but because Iggy took that, I went 2-1 Spurs. I gave
2-1, 1-0.
Late Christmas.
Mari. Clean sweep.
Extra time goal. Header by Romero.
I don't think there's extra time, is there?
It's going to be a replay. It'll be a replay.
I think it'll be a replay, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be a replay. Okay, yeah, it'll be a replay. 89th minute header goal by Romero makes it 1-0. I'm just.
All right, what are you saying now?
I'm going. I mean,
I know exactly what he's going to do. We're not going to get
2-0 Man City, isn't he? 2-0 Man City.
Yeah.
You can say this.
I mean, look, I want to see what the team. I'm just trying to think. So we're going to have no.
We have to predict the score, but you have to wait for the team.
No, you could do this. So no Sarr, no Bissouma.
100%.
Maddison might play his first game in about 3 months, so he won't be fit. No Son. I just think they're going to go through the midfield with ease. It's going to be Skip or Højbjerg. I think it's going to be 2-1 Man City. I think they'll go through our midfield.
Undercover City fan there,
mate. Listen, I just listen. I'm trying to add context to it, right?
The headphones tell you.
Listen, I'm trying to add context to it. I'm just looking at how Everton dominated our midfield, right? I'm looking at how Bournemouth dominated our midfield. I'm looking at how Brighton dominated our midfield. This is going to be Man City with Rodri, De Bruyne, and probably either Bernardo Silva or Kovacic in there. For me, I just think if they're playing against either Skip or Højbjerg and Kulu and Bentancur, who's still coming up to speed, I think it's a big ask, guys. I think it's a really, really big ask to go toe to toe with that midfield. I really do. But I hope I'm wrong.
What a downer. What a downer to end.
I can't listen. If I'd be so disingenuous if I sat here and just predicted we're going to win every single week. The problem is there are fans who every single week predict a Spurs win, and I love that, but it's not real, is it? It's not reality that we're going to win every single game. So I feel like
listen, I'll take a draw at United now and then get through to the next round of the cup, man. That for me, I'll be like, I'll snap your hand away with that right now.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, people will call me negative. That's fine. I just, we got a draw against them the other week.
It's only opinions.
Yeah, it's only a football opinion. Listen, hopefully,
it's life and death, guys. It's life and death.
It's life and death. Hopefully we beat them. But listen, I do feel like we really do disrespect teams like Man City a hell of a lot. Like this. What do you mean, Phil? It's not realistic to say City will beat us. Why?
Because at our place, they're our bitch.
Yeah, but the thing is,
I'm so joking.
No, I know, but I don't understand when fans say things like this. These are the treble winners. These are the best team in world football.
World champions.
Why is me thinking they might beat us not realistic? It's madness. Phil, if they do beat us, keep this same energy. If they do beat us, keep this same energy. Right? Because we're not going to keep beating them. Anyway, guys, let's hope I'm wrong. Let's hope Alan is right and we just sweep past everyone, battering them 4-5-0. Mari, thanks for coming on, mate. I really appreciate you coming in on such short notice.
Definitely. Always.
Alan, thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Loved it today. Bit feisty, weren't you? Got feisty.
Yeah, that's fine. By the way, guys, when 3-0 happens, I will be sending Savva a mud bath. He can have a mud bath. It'll be good. It'll be good.
Iggy, always appreciate it, man. Always level-headed.
Nice one, mate. Thanks very much, guys. Big up everyone and big up everyone on the channel.
And sorry, just quickly, I did miss this. So sorry. Jordan Pierce put in a super sticker. But then followed it up with a question that I think he meant to put in. And he said, the super chat question, the more I watch Matt O'Reilly, the more I want him at Tottenham. You think Big Ange would go back to raid Celtic? Guys, any of you seen Matt O'Reilly?
I don't know him too good, man. What do you know of him?
I love him.
Once.
I love him.
How would he benefit us in Spurs?
Mate, midfielder that can play the 6, play the 8, scores goals, assists, good pass on him, good engine, knows Ange's system, homegrown.
Can he shoot from range and is he good with free kicks? That's all I want to know.
I mean, he can shoot from range. He's Celtic's top goal scorer this season. The thing is, what I would say is when you watch Celtic play, it's not that he's the best player. He's head and shoulders. For me, I watch him. He's head and shoulders. He's far too good for that league. He's head and shoulders above everyone else for me.
Bring him on, Jordan. Bring him on.
I like him. I like him, Jordan. So yeah. Please subscribe to everyone who was on the show. Please subscribe on your way out as I head towards 13K. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Take care, everyone. And as always, come on.
Come on, Spurs.
Good night, guys. Take care. Be safe.
3-0, Alan. 3-0. 3-0.